أعزائي طلاب الصف الأول الثانوي، أهلا بكم في الحلقة الثالثة من إن شاء الله نتكلم عن تدريس الأحياء باللغة الإنجليزية بيولوجي. الحلقة الثالثة now again explaining about the proteins. Proteins, biological macromolecules made up of small molecules. It's called amino acid. Now we can explain you about their point. Scientists name the DNA is blueprint of life. What the meaning of blueprint of life? يعني معنى كده الدي ان ايه هو اساس الحياه ومخطط الحياه. Why? DNA is transcribed from its or transcriptions RNA. RNA enters the structure of the protein. So the DNA is called blueprint of life. يعني مخطط الحياه لان البروتين ده هو اساس الحياه عندنا. Can define the proteins. Proteins, biological macromolecules made up of small molecules. It's called amino acid. Now, can explaining about the structures or chemical fluid of the amino acid. Amino acid, it's alpha carbons, C, is connecting with carboxyl group, COOH, that's 3% acidic. And amine group, H2N, that's 3% basic. And connecting with the hydrogen atoms with the alkyl group. What the meaning of alkyl group? Alkyl group, it's called terminal groups. That means that it's very important role in define the type of the amino acid. By changing the alkyl groups, CH3, it's called R, changing the amino acid. Okay? Protein have high molecular weight and made up of building unit which are amino acid. Amino acid is a building structure or the building unit of the proteins and consists of, say, carbons. This carbon it's called alpha carbon. Why it's alpha carbon? Because it's connecting directly with carboxyls, COH, and H2N amines. Okay, so it's called alpha carbons atoms. Okay, atom H of hydrogens, two functional groups that's representing carboxyls, COH, and the amino groups NH2, okay, and differs an alkyl group R, which differs from the amino acid, another to determine the type of the amino acid. I explaining this point. This point is very important. Why? There is only 20 types of amino acid enter the structure of the proteins. Say, proteins that represent for chickens, meat, for legumes such as beans, differs from each other. Why? There's a difference in sequence in proteins, number of proteins, sequence of amino acids, number of amino acids, and the chains is connecting with the others. So the protein is differs from meats or the chickens, and the number, sequence, orders. Alkyl groups, it determines the type of the amino acids and differentiation between the amino acid and the others. Example, valine, glycines, arginines, lysine, these types of amino acids. Okay? Okay. For examples, about next point. Okay? Choose the correct answers. Okay? The final form resulting from the digestion of the meal, which consists of beans with oils and the bread are respectively. Beans, I think it's proteins. Okay? Beans, types of the legume and consists of the proteins. With oils, I think it's lipids. And the bread are respectively. That means that, okay, beans, amino acids, and oils, fatty acid, oils, and fatty acid, and bread, carbohydrates. يبقى the best correct answers, fatty acids, amino acids, glucose, A, it is the best answers. Can explaining this multi-choice questions. Why? To make a critical thinking. That methods you can make a critical thinking in your brains. First one, fatty acid. That's right. Okay? Which is the beans. Bean fatty acids, not correct. Beans is amino acid. With oils, fatty acid. The best correct answers, not A. Amino acid, glucose, fatty acid, and glycerol, not. Why? Beans, amino acid, right. Oils, glucose, no, wrong. Fatty acid and glycerols in the bread, wrong. So the best answer it's called D. Amino acids found in the beans. Fatty acids in oils. And glucose it's found in the bread. Okay. Building of the protein from the amino acids. Protein are made up of repeated units. What the meaning of repeated units? Amino acid plus amino acid plus amino acids. Finally, give polypeptide chain. This polypeptide chain enters the structure of the proteins. Okay? Amino acid plus amino acid, dipeptide bond. Amino acid plus amino acid, dipeptide bond. More than 2 amino acids, it's called polypeptide chain. The peptide bond arises. What the meaning of arises? Tension between the carboxyl group COH of an amino acid and the amino groups NH2 of the another amino acid through the removal of water molecules OH group from the carboxyls and another groups of the amines. Okay? For illustrations only. This is in your screens. The bending between the first amino acid and second amino acid. When bending between the first amino acid and second amino acid must be removers. One, OH, it's called the hydroxyl group from carboxyl group. COH, removal OH from the first amino acid. When bending with the second amino acid, removal the hydrogen from the next amino acid in amine group. So the removal one molecule of water it's bending between 2 molecules of amino acid. Say before, okay? The bonds between the monosaccharide, glucose, plus glucose, glycoside bond, removal one molecule of water. Is this identical? But the different of the monomers. Monomer in amino acid. In the past, monomers in glucose. So the bending, any bending, its productions one molecule of water remover or eliminated. لازم يتم نزع جزيء ميه between bending لما يحصل bending between molecule of amino acid. بيجي منين؟ OH from carboxyls مجموعة الكربوكسيلز اللي في الأول amino acid. Next with the amino acid hydrogen atoms from the amino groups. Can I ask you about the questions? Dear students, be careful. Pay attention, please. What is the number of free amino acid and amino group when connecting several the amino acid together? Take your times. Okay? Okay? Okay. I explaining you. When bending between first amino acid and second amino acid, the first hydroxyl groups of carboxyls is bending with the second hydrogen from the amino groups. Sequentially, in the third, fourth, until reaching the finals. So the free one hydroxyl group, free one carboxyl groups from the amino acids and the free one of amino groups. So the number of free carboxyl groups from amino acids 1, and the number of free hydrogen amino acids amine groups, it's called free 1. Total number free amino groups, free amino acids from carboxyl groups. Okay. Amino acids producing dipeptide bond between the first amino acid and second amino acid. Polypeptide, more 2 amino acid. It's called polypeptide chain. Okay? Okay. After that, okay, it's not required on the protein's formations. The combinations among the similar amino acids, so there are extensively wide and various probabilities to forming the proteins depending on the type, orders, and polymers of amino acids, of amino acids enter the structure of the polypeptide chain. That means that there is only 20 types of amino acids. Why the different types of the proteins? Okay, أنا عندي 20 amino acid in Arabic, but the different type of the protein. مع الرغم ان عندي كميه كبيره جدا من البروتين. Why? This types of amino acid 20. We can arranging it according to numbers differs from chain to another. Sequence differs from chain to another. Number 3, types enter the structure. So finally we can be producing a multi from the chain of amino acid connecting together by bonds and finally reaching to the polypeptide chain differ in the amino and protein to another. Okay? There is 20 different types of amino acids that enter the compositions of the protein, such as glycine, alanine, and valine, and amino acids. We can remember you about the structures of the amino acids. Amino acids, it consists of alpha carbons in a centers connecting directly with the carboxyl group COH and amines group H2N and H and terminal group R. Only one amino acid doesn't contain terminal group. It's called glycine. This point when explaining and study it carefully in the third year in the secondary stage. Okay? This enrichment informations to activity your brains, okay, to make a critical thinking. This needed for us in this days. Why? Because not depending on the memorized, but depending on the calculations of your brains. Okay? Okay. The type of amino acid, different amino acids that enter the structure of the composition of the protein, such as glycines. Say glycine, ولسه قايلينه حالا, glycines not contain alkyl groups. Only amino acid not contains alkyl groups. Chemical formula of the glycines, alpha carbon, COH, amine H2N, HH. Okay. Okay. For illustrations, only examples of some properties of the therm combinations of the glycine, alanines, and valine amino acids. The property of this sequence, very important point, but it's not for illustrations only. Some students take as titles for illustration only, away from it. No, but you make a critical thinking in this point, very important. Why? To explaining to you about the next in the third stage in secondary, third year in secondary stage اللي هي ثالثه ثانوي ان شاء ربنا. هيبقى عندك الكلام ده موجود، بتعرف الايه الامينو اسيدز والاستراكشرز والدي ان ايه والبروتين سينثيز، عشان كده بنعمل فوكس على المنطقه دي. اوكي؟ اكزامبلز بروبرتي جلايسين الين فالين جلايسين الين فالين جلايسين الين فالين جلايسين. ادي تشين فروم ذا امينو اسيد از ديفرنت فروم بروبرتي فروم ذا تايمز. هنا احنا قلنا هنا السيكونس، ممكن نعدل في السيكونس، ممكن نعدل في الاوردرز، ممكن نعدل في النمبرز، ممكن نعدل في التايبس. We can obtain more chain from amino acid, so we can obtain a difference from the proteins. Okay? Examples number 2, glycine, valine, alanine, glycine, valine, alanine, glycine, I.E until reaching to the finals. The human body can producing 11 type of amino acids and obtain the other types through the meals. بناخد البروتين من الميلز، اوريدي لازم يكون من الميلز، طبعا لازم تاكل بروتينز. So the human suffering from the wound or the surgical operations needed 2 proteins. Doctor advisable them eat proteins directly after make a surgical operations or your wound in your skin to compensate the damage parts by the protein, because the proteins play an important role in the structures of the human body and all living tissue. Okay? Okay. Another one slides can explain you. Okay? Amino acid act as acid and base. Why? Because it's contain 2 main groups, carboxyls, COH, and another base, it's called the amines. Okay? Due to the containing carboxyl groups, acidic, and the amino groups, basic. I.E, the acting as an acid or base, thus it's acting as an acid in the alkaline medium and as a base in the acidic mediums. Okay. Okay. The number of peptide bond which is resulting from the combination of the number of amino acids equals the number of water molecules eliminated, as that's explaining before in carbohydrates as the same, justly. Okay, chemical reactions equals the number of amino acids linked together to forming proteins. For examples, N1 carbons connecting R, H, R, that means that alkalines, amines, this it's called amines, amine groups. This is amine groups, carboxyls, at the same, each of them connecting together by removals 1 molecule of waters. Okay. Now, I explain you about the questions. These questions, to apply it, you understood carefully or no. Take your times. Choose the correct answer. Which of the following act as acid and bases together during the chemical reactions. Monosaccharides, B. Disaccharides, fatty acids, amino acids. These answers. Take your times. Think, pair, share. Please pay attention. You must take in your considerations. Think. تفكر جيد جدا في السؤال. Pairs. شارك مع نفسك مع زميلك الموجود جنبك. Share. قول الإجابة. Finally, may be correct, may be wrong, as useful or beneficial from this. Think, pair, share. It's the best method for reaching to the final result in this questions. So it's called think, pair, share. Okay? This very important method to explaining the question and questions and reaching to finally in that solving from the questions. Say, I think a student, not a teacher. I think, pair, share as you. Monosaccharide, enter the structures of glucose, no acidic or base. Disaccharides are the same, 2 molecules of glucose. Fatty acid, no, it's consist only of the fatty acid building unit of the fats. Amino acid, this is the best right. Why amino acid is the best right? Mr. Hatim said for you, amino acid is the best right. Why is the best right? Because amino acid enters the structures of the carboxyl group that's representing acidic, and the amino group that represents the basic, so it is the best right. Okay, right? Right. Next questions. The number of water molecules that are resulting from the combination of 5 amino acids with each others is molecules. 10, 5, 4, or 1. 10. Why 10? 5 amino acids plus 5 amino acids connected together by removal 4 molecules of waters. 1 OH from carboxyls with the next from the amine group. So the total number that removed or eliminated when combinations 5 amino acids together, it is 4 water molecules that's eliminating. The best right is 4. Okay? Please, attention, how to learn and how to add from this questions. Memorize, not is beneficial from us. الحفظ طريقة غير هادفة. But think, pair, share, reaching to the destinations. وإذا مين destinations؟ هذا المقصد أو المسافة المقصودة عندي اللي هو مين؟ حل السؤال بطريقة جيدة جدا. Okay? Number 3. Two similar types of amino acid can form dipeptide bond, polysaccharide compound, polypeptide compound, D, A and C. A and C together. Okay. Let me apply this method and share me together. Think, pair, share. Very important point. Please pay attention. I think, pair, share. Think. First one, dipeptide compound, similar amino acid plus amino acid. Okay, right, maybe. Polysaccharide, not related for amino acid. This is away from us. مستبعدة جدا بالنسبة لنا. Number C, polypeptide compound, maybe. Amino acid plus amino acid plus amino acids. This found. Take it in consideration. D, A, and C is the best right. Why? Because the dipeptide bond possibility. Polypeptide compound, its possibility. So the best answer is A and C. So I can apply that method to learning and reaching to the solving the questions carefully without any troubles. Okay? Okay. Okay. Classifications of proteins. Protein can be classified according to the number of amino acid enter the structures. Very important knowledge about you. First ones, simple proteins. We can classify the proteins into simple proteins, conjugated proteins. What's the meaning of simple and conjugated and the difference between them? Simple in Arabic, حاجة بسيطة. It consists of only one amino acid, type of amino acid. Only amino acid, not one only amino acid. No, this knowledge must take into considerations. Not only amino acid, but one type of amino acid. Type amino acid, only amino acid. No conjugated another element enter the structure in it. Amino acid plus amino acid plus amino acid plus amino acids enter the structure of proteins. Okay, so it's called symbols. Enter the structure only types molecules. It's called amino acid. Type 1 only amino acid. maybe 1 2 3 4 I dot E any types. Okay, but conjugated, it consists of only amino acid plus essential element, so it's called conjugated. What's the meaning of conjugated? Conjugated that means that conjugated اقتران، يعني partners، يعني معاه على طول ما بيسيبوش. Okay, we can explain the first one, amino acid. It's called simple amino acid, albumin. Albumin, it's abundantly found in the plasma and roots and leaves of the plant. Albumin play an important role in regulating the water in our body. So it's secreting from the hepatic cells. Hepatic play an important role. Liver يعني livers play an important role in secretions of albumin. Albumin regulations of the water in the blood. So we can explain you about some people suffering from hepatic disease. بعض الناس اللي بتعاني من مرض الكبد بنلاقي عندها السايتس، الابدومينال بتاعته بتبقى عاليه. legs في حاجه اسمها inflammations, large amount of water, no regulation of waters. So the albumin play an important role in regulation the water in the body. Okay, this is from the main self from Allah, يعني آية من آيات الله عز وجل. Okay, the main component of amino acids enter the structures of the simple proteins اللي هو الالبومين, carbon, hydrogen, oxygens and nitrogens. Okay, conjugated proteins. What do I mean conjugated? Partners connecting to each others, connected. Partners, conjugated. Essentials, amino acid plus another element. Say, for example, number 1, hemoglobin. Okay, hemoglobin, amino acid plus iron element. Enter the structures in the red blood cells or erythrocytes. Hemoglobin transferring, it's called transferring proteins, carriers, amino acid, okay, plus iron element, carriers the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. Inshallah, next years in the second stage, explaining it carefully in the transportations in the blood in hemoglobins. Second, amino acid plus iodines. It enters the structure of thyroxines. Thyroxines consisted of carbon, hydrogen, oxygens, nitrogens, and iodines. Thyroxine play an important role in the metabolism. So, some people stand in the sea for a long period, suffering from the hungry. انت لو قاعد قدام البحر فتره طويله جدا تحس بجوع. شوف البيولوجي انكشس يعني مشتاق او بيبقى ديليشس، حاجه وجبه شهيه. البايو كماده وجبه شهيه تعرفك يور سيلف، سيلف يو ان يور سيلف وفي انفسكم افلا تبصرون. دي ايات الله عز وجل. اوكي، هنا بنقول انت وانت قاعد قدام البحر على السي بتحس بهنج. ليه؟ لان هنا السي it contains a large amount of iodines element. اليود موجود في البحر. You respires or inhales a large amount of iodines. This iodines enter the structure of thyroxine beside amino acid. So the make of the metabolism increasing، يعني معدل الحرق بيزيد. So suffering from hungry بتعاني من الجوع. Why? Because the iodines enter the structure of thyroxine. It's inhaled a large amount in the sea. Okay? Okay. Number 3, amino acid plus phosphorus enter the structures of the casein. What the meaning caseins? Main component, specific type of the protein found in the milk. So this آية من آيات الله عز وجل. اللاكتيشنز بروسيس اللي بتحدث في الأم عشان ترضع ابنها وهو صغير بيبقى فيها كل المينرال ايه؟ فيها كل الايه؟ البالانس دايت. خدنا قبل كده مين؟ اللاكتوز. اوكي، اللاكتوز ان consists of O جلوكوز بلس جلاكتوز. carbohydrates essential for energy. Number 2, proteins, caseins, proteins plus phosphorus. It's found in the casein specific type of the proteins. So the chemical compositions: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus. Number 3, amino acid plus nucleic acids. It's called chromatin. Chromatins enter the structures of the chromosome. Each chromosome consists of 2 chromatids. You studied it previously in the third stage. ثالثه اعدادي خدتوه قبل كده، اللي هو الدي ان ايه بلس البروتينز يخش في الاستراكشر بتاع الكروموسوم. خدتوه اعتقد قبل كده وعندكم خلفيه عنها. اوكي، امينو اسيد plus nucleic acid is chromatines. Enter the structure of chromatines: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus. This way can explaining a classification of the protein into types, simple and complex. Any questions? Okay. Simple amino acids, they are formed of amino acid only. Examples: albumin, protein, which is present in the plant leaves and roots sites. Okay, human body plasma. Number 2, conjugated proteins. Okay, they are made of amino acids. Albumin protein, which is between the blood and the tissue to prevent the leaking, is present in the fluids from the blood vessels into the tissue. Therefore, the plant leaves, seed, and roots, its lack in the body leads to the appearance of some symptoms of the patients as the result of occurrence of the human blood plasma of disorders in the maintaining the osmotic pressure. لسه قايلها من شويه ان الالبومينز secreting from the livers بيعمل maintaining للosmotic pressures، يعني maintaining the ratio of the water in the blood. So the humans suffering from the hepatic disease is suffering from the accumulations of the waters in the blood. Okay. Types: amino acids linked with chromatines, nucleic acid with the nucleic proteins, casein, milk proteins, phosphor acids linking with the amino acid, phosphoproteins, thyroxine hormones, amino acid linked with the iodines, blood hemoglobin found in the red blood cells of the erythrocytes proteins, amino acid plus iron essential element. Okay. As a visual كما أرى أنا, this is applied to you, returning to the think, pair, share. To apply it, this part is that explained, understood, yes or no. If no, why this method? It's very important to critical thinking and how to learn and how to add. Okay? Test yourself, show the correct answers. All the following biological macromolecules enter the structure of some parts of the plant except cellulose, phospholipids, starch, albumin. Okay? Take each choice and make a critical thinking. Okay? Make a critical thinking. Cellulose. 1. A. Enter the structure of cell wall of the cells. We can study it previously from the carbohydrates. Okay? B. Starch. Enter the structures of the plant. Phospholipids enter the structure of cell membranes in the cell membranes of the cells. Albumin enter the structure root and leaves. So the starch is not from this choice. It is the best right B, starch, not enter the structures of the plants. Okay? Number 2, doctor advice the anemia patients to eat foods, the stuff which are rich in A element. Phosphorus, not related to anemia. Anemia it occurs when deficiency يعني نقص iron element that enters the structure of the hemoglobin that's capable to carry oxygen. So it's not found in phosphorus. By B, iodines enter the structure of thyroxines, not answers. Iron, this is the best answer. Why? The iron plus plus hemoglobins enter the structures plus amino acid enter the structure of hemoglobins to carry the oxygens. Calcium not related to. Simple thyroid gland related to only iodines. When explaining iodines, play an important role in thyroxine hormones. Thyroxine hormones enter the structures of the thyroxine hormone consists of iodines plus amino acids. Iodines play an important role in metabolism. Why? Because each enters the structures of the thyroxine hormones. Okay, function of the proteins. Proteins enter the structures of the building unit of living organism. Baby, mitosis divisions, it's occupied by proteins. When you wounded or exposure to the surgical operations, make a lot of protein. Proteins are compensating the damaged parts in your body. Enters the structure of nails, hairs. Why? Keratin. Muscles, tendons, ligament. العضلات والأوتار كل دي عبارة عن بروتينز. الهوفز بتاع الهورس والدونكي كل ده عباره عن proteins. Enter the structure essential for life. So we can say before DNA blueprint of life because it's make RNA transcribe from it. RNA it's play an important role in the protein synthesis. بيكون البروتينز. يبقى البروتينز enter the structure of hairs, hoof, nails. Very important regulations proteins, enzymes, hormones. We can digest it in your body, in digestion process in your body without enzymes? No, not at all. The reaction it's okay slowly and activation energy is slow down. So the protein play an important role in formation of the enzymes. Formation of the enzymes. Number 2, formation of the hormones and essential the structure proteins, tendons, ligaments, muscles, hairs, and all body parts. Thanks for you. See you later in the next times. I wish I could see you again in a happy health. Thanks for you. Bye.